All right, let's dive into one of the most famous short stories of all time, Guy de Maupassant's The Necklace. Now, you've probably heard about its famous twist ending, right? It's been shocking readers for over a century. But the real genius of this story, its real power, is hiding just below the surface. So let's get into it.
This quote from Maupassant himself just gets right to the heart of it. We're not just here to talk about plot points. No, we're here to explore that really dangerous place where what something looks like totally crushes what it actually is. And we're going to lean on some smart literary scholars to help us unpack this brilliant and honestly brutal story.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about our main character, Mathilde Loisel. You have to understand that this entire story is fueled by her deep, aching dissatisfaction with the life she has.
And this is a really important point. Mathilde is not poor. She's not starving. She has a perfectly comfortable middle-class life. But it's not enough. She is just haunted by this feeling that she deserves more, that she was meant for a life of luxury. It's not just about wanting nice things. It's about craving admiration, and she feels like her ordinary life is a personal insult.
You see, this is where it gets complicated. The scholar Naomi Shore makes this fantastic point that Mathilde's feelings don't just come from nowhere. They're actually shaped by the world around her, a society that is constantly screaming at women that their value is based on how they look, their clothes, their jewelry, how men look at them.
So here's the big question the story forces us to ask. Is Mathilde's desperate longing just a character flaw? Is it simple vanity? Or is she a product of her environment, a victim of a culture that says a woman is worthless if she isn't seen and admired? The truth is, it's probably both at the same time.
And all this inner turmoil is the perfect setup for what happens next. An invitation to a fancy ball arrives, which leads to borrowing what seems to be a spectacular diamond necklace.
To really get the power of this necklace, there's this great concept from the scholar Roland Barthes called the myth object. See, the necklace isn't just a shiny object. It's something that seems to magically grant the wearer elegance and status, making it feel totally natural, like she was born with it, not like it's just borrowed for one night.
And that is exactly what happens. The second she puts it on, it's like a switch flips. People don't see Mathilde anymore. They see what the necklace represents. Wealth, importance, belonging. It's like a social spell. And for this one night, man, does it work.
She's a total hit at the ball. Everyone wants to dance with her. She's admired. She's giddy with joy. But here's the thing. This happiness is so fragile. It's not a real change in who she is. It's just a loan. And we all know what happens with loans. They have to be paid back.
And this right here is the story's devastating turning point. The party's over, Mathilde gets home, and she realizes the necklace is gone.
So, you're thinking, why not just tell her friend the truth? Well, this quote explains everything. For Mathilde, confessing isn't just about saying she was careless. No, it would mean admitting the whole night was a lie. It would expose her as a fraud. And the idea of that social shame, it feels way worse, way more terrifying than any amount of money. So the decision is made. They will not tell the truth. They will buy a replacement no matter what it takes. And in that one moment, by choosing a lie over the truth, Mathilde's entire future is locked onto this new, horrible path. It's a single choice, driven by fear, and it changes everything.
And now we see the horrifying price of that lie. The Loisels are plunged into a decade of absolute grinding poverty and back-breaking work to pay for the replacement necklace.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 10 years. An entire decade of her life gone. Sacrificed for one night of fantasy and the lie that came after.
This is a question we ask a lot in stories like this, right? We kind of expect suffering to make people better, to teach them some profound lesson. We want to believe it's redemptive, but is that what actually happens to Mathilde? Well, Maupassant gives us a pretty brutal answer. Nope. All that hardship doesn't make her wiser. It doesn't make her happier. It just makes her tough, coarse, and worn out. It definitely strips away her illusions, but it doesn't replace them with any kind of joy or wisdom. She learns how to endure, but she never really transcends. So after 10 incredibly long years, the debt is finally paid off. And this is where we get to that unforgettable, absolutely chilling final scene.
One day, Mathilde, who is now old before her time, completely changed by a decade of hard labor, sees her friend, Madame Forestier, and with this strange sense of pride, she decides she can finally tell her the truth, the whole story of the lost necklace and the replacement.
And there it is, the punchline to a decade-long joke that isn't funny at all. The words that change everything, all over again. Oh, my poor Mathilde, but mine was a fake.
The original necklace, it was costume jewelry. Paste, worth, at most, maybe 500 francs. And they had spent 10 years of their lives paying off a 36,000 franc debt for a diamond replacement. The punishment was just so astronomically, cruelly out of proportion to the thing itself.
And this, right here, is the story's final, devastating truth. The necklace was fake. The glamorous identity she had for one night was a total illusion. But the consequences of that illusion, the debt, the lost youth, the 10 years of hard labor, oh, those were terrifyingly, undeniably real.
And so Maupassant leaves us with a question that feels just as sharp today as it did back then. He doesn't give us an easy answer or a simple moral. He just holds up a mirror. And the story forces us, even now, to ask ourselves, what illusions are we chasing? What appearances do we value over reality? And what is the very, very real price we might be paying for them?